Ladies and gentlemen, our guest speaker hails from the upper part of Sacramento, California. Her and her husband have several businesses. She's a caretaker for her father. She's also a community up there. She's on the board of directors of a couple things, as well as community. And she also has time to go to our daughter's school, which I love. And not only that, she's very personal, but they have a lot going on. And I love business people because they get it and they do it in a big way. So without further ado, let me get our guest speaker on there, Regional Vice President, who I just had spent some time with at the convention doing some taping for the channel. Can we give a warm welcome to Miss Keri Roeder, Regional Vice President? Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Thomas. You are cracking me up. You are an absolute fire. I love it. 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 Okay, so that was super fun listening to all of that. That's amazing. And it's funny because it actually kind of ties into part of what I wanted to talk with everybody about today. So there's a whole bunch of new people on this call, and I realize you met Mr. Thomas within the last 48 hours or less. And you know, you see him for who he is. And what's interesting is now I'm talking to everybody. Okay. So for the new people, I'm always suggesting that people use him as their greatest tool and that we don't take him for granted. There are people who have been in ACN for, I'm coming up, in May will be my 14th year anniversary. And I know, and like Mrs. Coralejo, we know not to take him for granted. We know to use him as a tool. So for those of you who've been around for a minute, he just taught every single one of us why we should use him as a tool. So absolutely amazing. Congratulations to all the new people who are jumping on. One of the things I will give you, you don't know who I am, I get that. I'm a stranger on a little screen, but you will quickly figure out who Mr. Thomas is and use him to your advantage. Never take him for granted. Take advantage of him. So today's conversation is actually going to be a follow-up from our Dallas event. And I'm going to talk about organic edification. But first of all, I want to say thank you to those of you who found me. And some of you, let me put my little magical dust on you. Others, just gave me amazing feedback. And I genuinely appreciate everything. And for those that I remember to take pictures with, I promise you I will be posting soon. But I always appreciate that. I appreciate the love. I appreciate that. That you guys find it, that you seek people out that you respect and that you articulate that. And my hope for every single one of you is that is who you are going to be in June in Cleveland. And people are going to seek you out, thanking you for their service. So, and Mr. Thomas, thank you for letting me do an interview for the channel. That's super exciting. It's just such an honor to be a part of everything that you're doing, and you being one of our main mentors. I just appreciate it. Our success is a reflection on a lot of what you have taught us personally. So, okay. So organic edification, it is all about edification. Okay. So, Mr. Mike Kupitz trains on Sunday. I love listening to both of Mr. Kupitz's. But when he was talking and training, he said, he would talk about edification, and he said, listen, don't be elaborate. Don't like oversell. Don't overhype. Keep it simple. Don't talk about, oh, people make millions and da-da-da. He's like, no, keep edification simple. The purpose of edification is you're saying to your recruiter, whoever's going to see the business, you're giving them reasons why they want to listen to this person. Okay. So until you are a top producing senior vice president like Mr. Al Thomas, you're not making the money, right? You're not making those kinds of money. So we're going to politely and respectfully set Mr. Thomas to the side, because I'm not even a top producing senior vice president. So I'm talking to myself here. Okay. I'm going to teach and talk today about how to use organic edification for all the brand new people who just got started, for all the people that you went to Dallas and that was your first convention, and for all the people who've been around for a minute. Okay. So for me, organic edification is when something naturally happens of success in our business. So if you were in a very privileged situation to have crossed the stage in recognition, you can have that used as a part of your organic edification. So we have top producing regional director, soon to be regional vice president, Mrs. Roxanne Corlejo on here. She crossed the stage multiple times. So her team gets to use that as organic edification. And I'll give you the words in a second. But if you actually got to cross the stage, so if you were an ETL in under 30 days, you got to cross the stage and shake the hands of the co-founders, okay? So use that in your organic edification because you were recognized in front of over 5,000 people. That's a big amount. You got to cross a stage. You got to shake the hands of the co-founders. You got to be on the Jumbotron, right? So use that. So if you're new, your leaders will use this. So leaders, now I'm talking to you, those who present, okay? When you're doing a presentation on behalf of somebody who got to cross the stage, you say that. You're cross-edifying. You say that. Listen, I'm going to use Adrian. So Adrian here, he went to a national training event. He got to be recognized in front of over 5,000 people. He got to cross the stage and shake the hands of the co-founders. He got to be seen on the Jumbotron. You use that because then that tells their friends and family that you're presenting to on their behalf. Holy crap. Wait, they've already had that kind of success. They can be recognized in front of 5,000 people. Use that. Now, if you were not able to cross that stage, but Mr. Thomas or one of your leaders recognized you at maybe like a team event, then as leaders, we say that, okay, we have David. He went to a national training event and our top senior VP recognized him at this event in front of the entire team, right? Use words that are truthful, but when you use the truthful words with effect, right? People go, wow, he got recognized by the senior VP in front of the entire team at a national event. As leaders, when we say these things about new people and we're presenting on their behalf, their guests go, holy crap, okay? Now, as leaders, if you cross the stage, teach your people to use this event as your edification when they're introducing you to do a presentation on their behalf, okay? So another time, probably next week, I'm going to train on how I was trained by somebody from Mr. Thomas, actually, on the format of proper edification to catch people's attention, okay? But as leaders, we need to tell our new people what to say about us. And I always tell everybody, okay, this is awkward and weird, and I'm not doing it out of ego. I'm doing it because when you edify me, when you give me value, what I have to say has value. And what I have to say is you're a new ACN business, okay? I have a new business partner who has experienced this. First 2 weeks, I was doing her presentation. She was like, oh, okay, I'm excited. Well, here's Keri. And then I do my presentation, and then people were like, oh, yeah, I kind of see the value, blah, blah, blah. And then she went to a big regional event, and I was one of 3 trainers, Senior Vice President, Mr. Jeff Weber, Regional Vice President, Mrs. Jocelyn Driscoll, and me. And there was a big crowd. Then she was like, oh, okay. When she started using Mrs. Roeder and actually saying the template of edification that I suggested she say, now she's getting success. Now she's having, the results she's looking for because she's using edification. Okay, so now again for the new people and the people aside, because we've set Mr. Thomas to the side, do you have pictures with leaders? Do you have pictures with leaders? Because if you have pictures with leaders, now again, as a leader, as a leader, parade your new people around and have them take pictures with people. Every time I was taking a picture of somebody like with Mr. Thomas or one of the founders or whatever, people go, do you want a picture? No, because this is about them and me introducing them to Mr. Provenzano, right? So use those pictures as part of the edification of your newest person. So you're standing in front of the room, in front of their guests. You can say, listen, they went to a national event. Matter of fact, I have 12 pictures, or however many you have, right? I have a dozen pictures of Sarah with all the top producing regional vice presidents and senior vice presidents in the company. She got to meet them. She got to actually take pictures with them. If you're doing Zoom, flash those pictures, preload them on your little thingamaboo. What are those called? Where we click slides, right? So Put them up there because it's a personal PBZ to them. Use those pictures to your advantage because they got to meet them. Now, we're after the event. And if you didn't cross the stage, if for whatever reason you didn't get recognized at Mr. Thomas or your leader, right? And if you don't have any pictures with somebody, no worries. Because as leaders, what we know we get to do, I know Mr. Thomas is like, what? Okay, here's the thing. As leaders, what we get to say and edifying you, at your personal presentations is listen to this. Bob, he flew all the way to Dallas, Texas to be trained by the founders, all 4 founders at ABCN that started this 31 years ago, all the top producing regional and senior vice presidents. They were trained by them. So you get to use the training as edification. Now, I hope you heard me, because when we go to June, we go in Cleveland in June. Now parade your people around. When you know they're going to cross the stage, tell them so they can dress to the nines, they can be ready for it, and you're the first one at the stage. I don't know if any of you saw, I was the first one at the stage because I was going to get pictures of my ETLs that did it in under 30 days so that I could take little videos of them and use that. And that's another training topic for another day, okay? But make sure you parade them around, and every chance you get, you bring them to a leader. Little side note, please never hail us leaders over. Hey, Keri, hey, Mrs. Roeder, hey, Mr. Thomas, come here. That is the worst thing you could do. That is the biggest de-edification you could ever do. So here's what I do. I did this to the Burts in the bar. I was standing there talking to somebody. I saw the Burts coming. I quietly walked over and I gave them hugs and I whispered, could you please stand here for 1 minute? I have somebody to introduce you to. I went back to the person I wanted to introduce them to. Oh my gosh, the Burts are here. You need to meet them. And I made it a big deal. And I took her to them and politely in front of her asked them if I could have a picture with them and her. Okay, so that was a little side note. Anyway, back to my news. Okay, so edification. Mr. Provenzano, thank God, closed the event again. That was amazing. But Mr. Provenzano talked about with 3 windows of time. Okay, so for the new people on the call, I apologize. I want you to listen because it'll click in for you. But for those of us went to Dallas, and those of you on the call who have been to an international before but didn't go to Dallas, okay, dial in, okay? Mr. Provenzano said window of time number 1 is 72 hours. If you don't do anything within the first 72 hours of leaving this event, it was just another good time. It was just another weekend. You are part of the ACN club. So here's the good news. 2 things. Number 1, Mr. Ralph Thomas just showed you that he did exactly what the president of our company said to do. He didn't even wait to 72. He waited like 2 hours, right? He went out and did exactly what he was coached to do by the founder of ACN. Do something to move your business forward. What does he always say? Do something to move it forward, right? That's exactly what he did. So he is not telling you to do something to move your business forward. He went and did it, and now he was telling you what he did and the time frames and what he did it in. So here's the second good news. There's still 24 hours left of your first 72 hours. So now we have 8.5 hours before Mr. Thomas's effective presentation. Effective. He called you all out on that. I do effective presentations because I get people started, right? So you have 8.5 hours. 8.5 hours to do something to move your business forward. So I want to talk about this, okay? It's called peak and pass. Over the next 8 hours and 15 minutes, you can pique somebody's interest. Are you open to making extra money? Or you can type it out. Are you open to making extra money? Yes, I am. Great. You're done. All you're going to do is now pass it. You're going to pass it to your executive team leader. You're going to pass it to your regional coordinator. You're going to pass it to your regional director. They're going to get on the line with your peak, your recruit, and they are going to do their job of edifying Mr. Al Thomas tonight at 6 o'clock. They're going to give just enough information over the phone or over the Zoom. Or if it's over Zoom, do a whole presentation, okay? And if you're skilled enough, do the presentation over the phone. But they're going to give just enough information to get them jacked out of their minds, excited to meet the top senior VP who is, moving mountains, who's expanding nationally. They're going to say all the right things, and you are going to reap the benefits because your ETL, your regional coordinator, or your regional director is going to get your guest on at 6 o'clock tonight for Mr. Al Thomas's effective presentation. But if you do more than peek and pass, good luck. They may or may not get on, right? See, people flake on those of us who they know, but they don't flake on somebody that is properly edified. So you're going to pique somebody's interest. Yes, I am. Great. Listen, I'm going to connect you with one of my mentors in business, and then you're going to do a quick edification of your ETL, your regional coordinator, your regional director. You're going to get them on the line today, immediately while you have your guest attention. That leader is going to promote and create value for meeting the top senior VP tonight for an effective presentation. So some of the things that we can say about Mr. Al Thomas, okay, in promoting for tonight. Listen, I am super excited that you are open and interested in learning how you can make extra, a couple extra $1,000s a month part-time around your careers and around your businesses. Tonight at 6 o'clock, or whatever your time zone is, okay? Tonight at 6 o'clock, listen, our top senior VP is going to, because by the way, we know our acronyms, they don't. So call it out, senior vice president or senior VP. People know what a VP is, okay? But our top senior VP, listen, he's going to be doing a presentation of our business model where you'll be in and out of that Zoom in less than 30 minutes, okay? Now, check this out. This gentleman has been featured in magazines for his success multiple times, like year after year, featured in magazines. He is friends with the co-founders. Matter of fact, the co-founders respect him so much that they actually listen to him when he counsels them on what's happening out in the field. Okay. Not only that, but he has traveled the world with the founders of our company on their dime. He is a true servant. He wants every single one of us to accomplish the financial freedom that we desire. And he is a ton of fun. You will figure that out when you meet him tonight. Okay. Then you're going to give the details, and those people can't say the right thing to the wrong person, right? You can in an invitation, but your leadership is going to create the value for Mr. Al Thomas tonight. It's layers of leadership. You're new. You haven't made any money, or maybe a little bit of money. Then your ETL, your regional coordinator, your regional director, they haven't made, the kind of money Mr. Al Thomas has made. But then when they create value for Mr. Thomas, your guest is going to see layers of leadership, layers of success, because they're going to look at Mr. Thomas and go, I can't necessarily do that. But they're going to look at your executive team leader, regional coordinator, and go, okay, that's a little more attainable of that kind of success. And they're going to look at you when you're recognized for your success, right? Your leader's going to say what you've been, your edification. They're going to go, okay, sold out. Because if that fool, meaning you, lovingly, if that fool can do this and have success, and they're being led by whomever that leadership is, and they're, oh my gosh, by a man who literally does business in all 50 United States and Canada, featured in magazines and all those details, sold out, done. Okay. Layers of leadership. Now, I recognize that some of you are like, I'm tired, Mrs. Roeder. I got home at 1 o'clock on Sunday, and I had to get up on Monday and take care of my kids and go to work. And then I was just so tired. Now it's Tuesday. I had to get up again. I'm tired. Yeah, I get that. So for those of you who don't know my story, when I got started in May of 2010, and June in Cleveland was my first international training event, my daughter was 5. I volunteered in her classroom every day. I owned my own business with my handsome husband, you got to see. We owned 4 businesses. We worked 7 days a week. So guess what? When I got home at 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday night, I couldn't not wake up and take care of my kid, whatever time she woke up. I could not go volunteer in her classroom. I could not go to my office when I was done doing that to run my business. I could not go home and, make dinner and be with my kid and follow through and follow up with my team and follow up with my guests and do all those things, and then get the very little sleep I got that night, right? And then do the same thing on Tuesday. I get it. I was there. Totally. So here's an idea. Just like, I want you to think this one through. You're tired. But on Sunday, when Mr. Provenzano closed and you felt like you could run through the wall, right, and accomplish anything, just imagine if you do something in these next 24 hours and you fulfill window number 1, Mr. Thomas or Mr. Provenzano suggested that we do, right? Just imagine, maybe not Cleveland in June, but maybe the next one, I won't tell you when and where, but it's going to be pretty cool. Maybe that following Monday, you'll be in a financial situation where you can choose to sleep in on Monday, like I did, like Mr. Thomas did. I was woken up by a phone call from the VA. I had to answer for my dad. Okay. Otherwise, I was asleep till I was done sleeping because I was tired because I got in at 1 o'clock. So if you do the work now, you can have the lifestyle in which it is you seek. Okay. So I get being tired. The second window of time, 19 more days. 19 more days until the end of March. 19 more days until the end of the first quarter. You know how much you can kick ass you can kick butt in 19 days? Look what Mr. Thomas just did. I guarantee you those 3 people he just talked about are going to turn in like at least 27 in 19 days, at least, if not more. Okay. Sure, you may not be as skilled as Mr. Thomas, but if you even took 1 and turned it into 3 by the end of the 19 days, is that more than you've done in the previous 19 days, right? Here's what we're suggesting. Do something consistent every single day to move your business forward. I'm not saying full time. I'm not saying that. I'm saying 1 to 2 hours every single day to move your business forward. Now, let's be clear on this. I'm talking about action. I'm talking about get a customer in the system. I'm talking about pique somebody's interest, pass it to your leadership, have your leadership show the business. Or if you are a leader and you have somebody you can work with, get in their war market and show the business. I'm talking about doing things that actually progress into something. Thinking about ACN is not doing ACN. I read the 10 pages today Mr. P told us to read, right? Was that doing ACN? No, no. That's preparing you for the leadership so that you can have the success you look for. Action. Do something like peak, present, get a customer, okay? Third window of time is between now and Cleveland in June. Mr. Mike Kupitz said, eyes on the business, eyes on the business. We don't care their answer. They're revealing their apple. I'm a red apple. I'm a green apple. I'm a brown apple. We don't care. Once they show the apple, we care. Like, right? Who cares? But if they're a red apple, cool, we care. If they're a green apple, cool, we care. If they're a brown apple, cool, we don't care. Like, whatever. Get them as a customer. That's where your customers come from. But Cleveland in June, here's what I know. Here is what I know for a fact. Every single one of you knows somebody who 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 knows a man similar to a guy named Michael Parrish. And Michael Parrish has a ginormous family, and he's going to share the ACN opportunity with his ginormous family. And in that ginormous family, there is going to be an ornery person who is uninterested in seeing what it is you're doing, but is going to be forced to sit down and see the business concept because she's a businesswoman who's going to have been praying to her angels to have her life be different than what it is because she doesn't have time. She's working 7 days a week. Her husband and her daughter and her children don't have time. And she's going to be praying for an answer, and it's going to come in the way of ACN. And that's not how it's going to seem like it should be. But when she sees it, she is going to be like, wow, this is how I'm going to take care of my family. And then she is going to be coached to go to Cleveland in June. And she's going to walk into that environment and absolutely be overwhelmed with the environment and absolutely overwhelmed with the training and the belief that she can do this and the belief that this is going to be what is going to take care of her family. And here's how I know this, because June in Cleveland is my 14-year anniversary. June in Cleveland was my very first international training event. And if Michael Parrish, my cousin, hadn't called me to let me see the business and decide for myself, I would never have gotten started. If Renee Wagner had not had the strength as my coach to pretty much tell me I needed to go to Cleveland, Ohio for an international training, I would not be here right now. Every single one of us, and I always tell you guys, I'm talking to me too. Every single one of us knows somebody who 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 knows Michael Parrish, who's going to introduce us to a cousin that he sees as successful and doesn't know that she cries herself asleep at night, but was able to figure this out and hit regional vice president in 3.5 years. So, or it goes back to organic edification. Use edification, use this Dallas event as your advantage, as a part of your edification to help you attract, retain, and grow your business, and introduce all the guests who've seen the business to Mr. Al Thomas. He'll do an effective presentation and he will enroll your guests, and then the system takes over from there. So hopefully that helps. And again, congratulations on all the new people. I'm telling you, you are in for a whirlwind of success. I would definitely strap your seatbelt on, because you have no idea. Those of you who are going to be coachable to that man are going to be hitting regional coordinator within less than probably 60 days, regional director in certainly 4, maybe 6 months, and regional vice president, maybe by the end of the year, certainly in a calendar year from now, if you're absolutely 100% coachable to that man, because he's only going to teach you income generating activities. They're going to help you be successful. So I'm going to turn this call back over to our incredible top senior vice president, our mentors, our friends, somebody we really absolutely love and respect, Mr. Al Thomas.